So today I wanted to talk about meditation and anxiety and how to manage your anxiety with meditation and what my experiences with that have been. And the idea for this video came from a Twitter back and forth that I had about meditation. When I had posted something about how meditation had made me feel less anxious, and somebody replied, "Good for you, I can't meditate." And I would like to make the disclaimer up front, I am not a mental health professional. I am not an expert at meditation at any sense. I am just talking about my own experience and sharing my own experience in case it is helpful to other people. So with that out of the way, I have some thoughts about this. And the first thing I want to acknowledge is that when you have anxiety and like the first 1,000 times that people tell you that you should meditate, your reaction is going to be to want to pick up a rock and throw it at them and say, "That is bullshit." Because when you are in a state of high anxiety, the last thing that you probably want to be told is to breathe. Because it can't be that simple, right? But the crazy thing is that it actually does work. Because when you're feeling really anxious, one of the first things that most people unconsciously do is they start breathing deeply. They breathe very shallowly, like they're not breathing all the way down to the bottom of their lungs. And well, you know what that means? That means you're not getting very much oxygen. And oxygen is it's what keeps you alive. So you need to breathe. And when you really get down to it, that is all meditation is. It's just conscious breathing. And I think because of the way that meditation is kind of presented in the Western world, a lot of us make it a lot more complicated than it really is. Because I know what my first thoughts were when somebody suggested meditating to me. I pictured the lady in the yoga pants who can sit very comfortably in a cross-legged position on the floor for an hour, and assumed that's what I would have to do, and it sounded a lot like torture. But the thing is, that's just a type of meditation. It doesn't have to be that way if that's not what works for you. And when you're starting out, sitting on the floor cross-legged for an hour is not going to work for you. It's setting yourself up for failure if that's what you think it is. And the thing to understand is there are many, many ways into meditation. But the common thread between all of the different ways that you could meditate is getting yourself to do the deep breathing that will help calm you down. So now I want to share some of the really common, simple ways that I bring meditation into my life. One is doing a 5-breath meditation, which lasts about 30 to 40 seconds, depending on how slow or fast I'm breathing. It's optimal to try to breathe a little bit slower because you're trying to get yourself to relax. And the beautiful thing about this tiny little meditation is you can do it anywhere. You can do it while you're sitting down. You can do it while you're standing up. You can do it while you're walking around. You can do it while you're lying down. You can do it while you're sitting on the toilet. All you have to do is breathe in and breathe out 5 times. I like to put my hand on my heart while I do it because it makes it that much more intentional to me. But all you have to do is breathe in and breathe out 5 times. And then congratulations, you have meditated. Another way I commonly meditate is to distract myself with doing something with my hands. One way that I do that is knitting, but the other way, which is a lot more, I think, accessible to everyone, is to color in a coloring book. I have a really hard time thinking about all the things that are bothering me if I'm coloring. And I just sit there and I breathe calmly. And I don't even think about it when I go into meditation that way. So that might be a good way if you feel that you need to fool yourself into doing it. Plus, the bonus is you get a really pretty picture in the end. And another thing I think people misunderstand about meditation is they think it's about clearing your head of all of the thoughts, and that if there are thoughts that pop up in your mind, that means you failed at meditation, and that is so not true. Because really, the point of meditation isn't to just empty your mind completely. The point is to disrupt the pattern of habitually overthinking things. And while everybody's experience of anxiety is a little bit different, most people who are anxious struggle with this overthinking thing a lot. Because what's going to happen in your mind when you meditate is you're going to have a thought about whatever random thing. And because you're bringing your attention to your breathing, you are telling your mind, not now. I am doing this other thing and I will think about that later. And essentially, when you first start out with meditation, you're pretty much training your mind like you train a dog to stay. And the other thing that's true about meditation too is it's not so much about clearing your mind, even though people use that phrase a lot to describe it. It's more about teaching yourself how to direct your attention rather than letting that little anxious, chattery part of you run the show all of the time. And the truth is, that's not an easy thing to do. I certainly do not have it mastered. Most of the time, I forget that that is an option for me to do when my little brain gets chattering. And a lot of the times when I get really anxious, I don't remember that this is a tool that I can use to make myself calm down. Like, it doesn't occur to me that it's an option. Usually somebody else has to remind me. So find somebody that can remind you as well. And those are just some thoughts that I have on meditating when you have anxiety and how you can start cultivating a little bit of a meditation practice. If you found this video helpful at all, if you had some additional tips and tricks of how to meditate when you feel like you can't meditate, please leave them down in the comments, like and subscribe to this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!